We're live. Okay, let me just put the chat here to make sure that we monitor whoever joins us for chat. We'll have it there if someone picks up. Okay, so we're live on the day of our product hunt launch. I'm just going to quickly share my screen and show our product hunt listing here. Hey, there it is, product hunt. So we decided to basically do another launch. We can call it another launch, right? Another launch of Goosly. We
I
had
mean, call the first one soft launch, and this is the
yeah,
real launch.
yeah, exactly. That was a soft launch 3 weeks ago when we've done the Jigsaw 22 and we introduced Goosely alongside other products and PM72 event in summer. But we decided to also have a more dedicated live stream for Goosely. I think it's worth it. It's a pretty awesome platform that we're launching, and I think it needs a bit of a discussion around what the hell is Goosely, why we build it, and where it's heading. And given that we're doing the product hunt launch, I think it makes sense that we also have a discussion about it a bit, celebrating the launch. So head on over to product hunt. We'll have the discussion there. There's a chat, there's a comment box here that you can leave your feedback. So based on that, we'll carry on the discussion. We'll show what's on the comments here. We'll go through any comments, and yeah, let's have a launch party. All right, so I'll stop this for a second. Sharing. Okay, we have Fun Man Andy
Oh, great,
with
Andy. Hey,
with
welcome.
the message. What a great day for a product hunt. Uh, Happy Tuesday, everyone. Thanks for joining, Andy. All right, so I'm just looking through a bit my notes around this stuff.
Yeah, why don't you tell us a bit
Yeah,
what Goosly is and why you built it?
yeah, let's do that. All right, so I'll share my screen again. And Fabrizio says hi. Hi, Fabrizio. Thanks for joining us.
Hey.
All right, so Goosely, we built Goosely. I think we started. So Goosely, I mentioned before, Goosely started as a side of desk project from William, one of our engineers. The engine, the roadmap engine, what you actually see here, is stolen from our flagship Jira app, Swanly. So Swanly has over 1,000 installs on the marketplace, and it's been quite successful. And it's doing a great job as a release management tool, planning and tracking work on a roadmap view, and so on. So um, yeah,
That's the engine you developed for Goosly,
yeah,
sorry, for Swanley version 3, right?
yes,
There are
exactly.
lots of sleepless nights that I remember.
Yes, so like even Swanley has such a rich story. We launched it at the end of 2018, and it's gone through several iterations. So the engine that powers Goosely was basically Swanley V3 roadmap, which again took quite a bit of time. And given that we created this jewel of a timeline using Canvas and so on, we decided to port it on a standalone tool as well, which is quite different from Swanley. And I would say it tailors to a completely different type of audience. And yeah, it kind of started, as I mentioned, it started as a side of this project with Will kind of like showing off, hey, how about we do a standalone tool for Swanley, and we kind of started brainstorming and transitioning it into this concept of creating your plans publicly. Oh, I started calling this plan in public from taken, I stole the concept from building in public, which basically means that as a founder, as a hacker, you're sharing with your community and your audience as much as you can while you're building your business and your product on social media, video content, and so on. So why not also plan in public and basically output everything. But we'll talk about the use cases in a second. What the tool can do is you can create and even embed roadmaps like this publicly. You can create swim lanes. Again, I've talked a bit about this, about the features and so on. Give them colors, give them emojis. You can zoom in on various levels, so you can plan granular or at a higher level, and it's very easy to plan. You basically just double click wherever you want and create the items, and you also can open and read more information about these items. Yeah, and it's completely free. So, as in, we're not charging absolutely anything for it right now. And the reason we can do that, then we can just let it, I would say, bake for a while until we figure out what the perfect pricing plan is because we have an Atlassian business with apps, so we don't really need to monetize it right now. And that's why we're experimenting quite a lot with it as well. So all of the features are free. We're still going to be building features and they're going to be free. And we're also experimenting with this building public approach where we're actually building Goosly in public. Um, yeah, so that's a tiny bit of a summary about the app.
Yeah, sometimes it reminds me a little bit about, for example, status page, which Atlassian acquired. It also started off as a very tool that really served a niche purpose. And to be honest, once I first saw a status page, I thought, who the hell is gonna why? But it really solved that need of someone having a being able to communicate to customer base on if there's an outage. Yeah, and it started off as a very basic tool, and obviously now it's got lots of integrations, good things, but it's still serving that need. And that reminded me a little bit when I saw Goosely first time, that actually suits that need of easily, quickly share some roadmaps in public, but also in private. Quite honestly, I mean, you're very focused on the public roadmap part, but I've used it to just put some roadmaps together and share it with other people and have it password protected,
Yeah,
essentially. And I think that's a very good use case as well. If you have a larger closed groups, for example, beta testers of our apps and that stuff, where you can actually share maybe a little bit more than you would share just in public.
yeah, exactly. So it has that ability. There's a glossary of public roadmaps that you can get inspired from. So we have this Get Inspired tab here, so you can find a variety of roadmaps, which also worth mentioning can be copied. So you can copy a roadmap. Say, I want this. And let's take a product launch roadmap. Let's say your favorite hacker, your favorite entrepreneur is building their business in public, and you feel like their strategy applies to you as well. You can just go ahead and hit copy, figure out when you want to start the project or end, and rebase from that date and start your project and follow their template as well. So that's I think that's one a big benefit. But you're right. You can also create roadmaps that are unlisted, as in you can share the link with anyone, or private and share it with your team and so on. You can invite multiple people to your roadmaps, and you can also invite people to edit your roadmaps. Once you get started, what we've done was to create this getting started template, which is actually using the roadmap. So you'll find, you can double click to create a new activity like that. You can edit stuff. So by clicking on the roadmap here, yeah, my computer is slow because I'm streaming and doing a lot of things and things. And then you can publish and share it with whomever you want. And then you can give it a bit of a description here, change the colors, put a nice background image.
I really like that hero image in the background. I mean, yeah, I liked it when Facebook and the others started it, but I think even on a roadmap, it really helps you to set a certain scene of what you're communicating.
Yeah, very, very true, and that's the reason why we implemented this. This is Unsplash, so you can't really upload your images, but I think it's safer because Unsplash it's safer for consumption, right? And they have a multitude of backgrounds, so you can put absolutely anything in there, or you can just leave it colored, however you please. So yeah, but again, the focus is on you being public with your plans. Um, yeah, let's before we carry on, let's see if there's any other comments in the chat. We have Fabrizio said hi, good morning. Lucas, yay, thanks for joining, Lucas. Anyway, okay, oh,
Oh, thank
awesome,
you very
thank you
much.
so much.
That's great.
Right, so then let's check before we carry on. Let's check a bit the listing. Let's see if we have any comments here. Doo-doo-doo. By the way, I put a bit of you can go there and check whatever we're talking here. You can go on Product Hunt on the listing. If you're on YouTube, the first line of the description should be the listing, and if you're on LinkedIn, then check the comment, my first comment on the live stream, and you'll find the link there. You'll see a description of all of the features and everything that we're talking about here. Why is it free, and so on. Okay, Walter says, congrats on the launch, the app. Any plans for to integrate with Trello soon? Well, that is,
Is that a segue to
yeah,
what's happening next?
yeah. We
Perfect
can
one.
we can talk about what's happening next. So yeah, Trello is in the plans, and as I mentioned, I also started basically. I'll show you this. I started documenting our journey with building Goosly. And let me see, we share our screen? Yeah, we are sharing. Let me just remove the message from the screen here. Right, so I started documenting what's going to happen with Goosely. And I'm going to share this link as well. This is a good uh, page to follow, right? So eat your own dog food. So this has absolutely everything related to Goosely. As I mentioned, we're building Goosely in public, which means there's a lot of transparency. So we're going to share a lot about the plan, the strategy, the community, how we plan to build a community around this, and how we plan to build product. So Nikki and I had a discussion yesterday about what's coming next, and I'll touch on that. We also very slightly touched on Trello because that will probably be a future sprint. I think it's a really good opportunity to create potentially, I'm just putting it out there now, a free integration with Trello for people to just lay down their tasks under a roadmap. And the reason why I'm saying I kind of think there's an opportunity to do a free integration and give people what they need is because if you look at so Trello has implemented additional views where you have a roadmap and such. That's paid. You can't actually have public roadmaps in Trello. You can only have your Kanban public. And then there's other integrations that are completely paid. So I think there's an opportunity to basically get people to not only have their Kanban board public for free, but also give them a roadmap that they can publish for free while they're working with their Trello board. So yes, I think this is definitely coming, and I think it's also going to be a free integration, which probably is a nice thing to hear.
Yeah, I think it would also be interesting. Maybe you can comment back on that. Is would you think of having a full Trello board being essentially replicated, synchronized, however you call it, or integrated into
Mhm.
Goosely, or because I very often see when I look at Jira, for example, obviously we use Swanly for planning quite a bit. There's a lot of detail in there. But that's not. I don't think that's what I really want on my public roadmap because
Mm.
down to the ticket level, what we're working on, that's just too much detail, and people might get lost in details or don't care. I think the beauty about what Goosely very often is for where we used it so far is that you can be a bit more high level and communicate your intention, your plan in a very simple way, as opposed to really have someone see 300 tasks in the backlog
Yeah.
or spread out over the next quarter. So I could imagine that it's actually nice to have a filter or only have the Goosly roadmap a bit more condensed than just all the detail behind it.
Well, I think that's a very fair point, and I think that's going to be. I'm not going to talk too much about what the features, because Nikki will frown upon by me starting to scope the whole feature in public right now. But just
Maybe we should live
conceptualizing.
stream one of your design sessions. So.
Yeah, well, that's probably going to happen. That's all
Cool.
about building in public, right? You're sharing all of your experiences and how you do things. Um, but just conceptualizing now, I think that's a really good idea. I think that will be hopefully, that will be part of the integration where you can say, hey, just give me stuff that's labeled this in Trello. And then you can just publish the stuff that's high level, right? You say we call them epics in Jira, like your high level tasks. All right, let me share my screen. Yeah, so just a reminder for everyone, join the conversation on Product Hunt. People are asking questions there. If you have any questions, go and register for Goosly. It's completely free. You don't have to pay anything for it, right? And it's very easy to create an account. You can just use your Google, your Facebook, or very easy to create. You don't have. It's not a very extensive registration. Play around with it and look at it, look at the value that it brings, and ask questions on our product hunt listing. Let's see what else we have in there. Leo says, right, can embed my product page. Yeah, that's another feature that I think is quite powerful. I would say there's split minds. There are people that don't really agree with sharing their plans in public when they build a product. It's perfectly fine, right? If you don't want to, don't want to, it's your problem. But what you're going to find more often than not is that your customers and your audience wants to understand what you're building next. And if anything that's related to their needs for the application is part of what you're building next. So we have, for example, I'll give you this example. So we have our Jigsaw Atlassian apps in here, and people are also a bit shy in publishing roadmaps about their features because they don't want to confine into specific dates. Oh, I'm building this over this period. But the beauty with Goosely is that you can stretch things around months or quarters. So you have this monthly view. You can also just specify quarters, Q1, Q2, Q3, and so on. And that helps you out because if you're planning to, hierarchies for Swanley in this view, this was spread across 3 months, like a quarter. But it didn't take 3 months. But, at least you're saying we're going to do it in this quarter. So you're not really confined to, I'm finishing by this specific date. So that's what we do. So all of our features are spread across quarters.
But I think this is actually a good example of what I meant before. This is obviously, if you would look into your Jira, there's an awful lot more detail behind what building a public API
Oh,
means.
yes. Yeah.
But having it a high level task here can really communicate to a customer. We're working on it. We're expecting it to happen in a time frame, and it's not so much that you can't read it. Yeah. So if I'm interested in Octo, so it's 2-3 line items here, and I can really within about 30 seconds I can see what's coming next on the product, and that's what I really like about it. And that's also where I think that's the kind of detail people should not be afraid of sharing about their apps. I do sometimes get then the argument about what about our competition, and let's see what we're planning on and that stuff. And we operated with our plugins in a pretty competitive space for a long time. And if you just look back to your competition, you're not making the progress. This is really listen to the customers and make the progress, and then you'll be fine. So I would not be overly concerned about sharing at least at high level in public at all.
I agree, and I think you should focus on your customers, not on your competition.
Absolutely.
Because if I have customers that see their feature that they requested, they raise the ticket and they request it on the timeline. It brings so much joy, so much happiness to them to see that we're actually progressing and we have serious, not what a lot of product companies do, which get your feedback and okay, thank you for your feedback, bye, right? Like no, everything is up in the open. You can see what we're planning to work on, right? Let's see what other comments we have here. Thank you for your hard work. I just started using Foxy and looking forward on scoping Goosly. Woo! Yes.
Hey, cool.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Right. Let's see. Let's see product hunt a bit. Let's see what other comments we have here. Let's do so much fun already using it to do my planning. We have a lot of fun working. This is Nikki, work on Goosly. I hope you will find it useful. Yes, I think it's been really fun to just start something from scratch. I kind of refresh the page because I don't know if things appear automatically with this or I need to refresh. Oh, there you go. There's more. Absolutely love being able to create such an amazing roadmap. Great for planning big or even small. Yeah, I agree. Project in detail, I would recommend to any team. Sharing timelines with friends and colleagues is a great idea. Yeah.
I actually also like the approach you've taken with what I call the soft launch 3 weeks ago, because it really gave a lot of people the chance to play around with it already. So I mean, he obviously gave it to me as well.
Yeah.
It's much better now to talk with it with a bit more experience, and I'm pretty sure you've already gotten some decent feedback on what to improve or what additional features people would like before actually going what I'd call a big step and inviting the world on Product Hunt.
Oh yes, yeah. So we did polish a few things in preparation for product hunt. We polished our message as well. I don't know if you've been part of the soft launch. You probably heard me talking a bit more of a your roadmap for absolutely everything for absolutely everyone.
Yeah.
And as that is kind of like fundamentally true, I think it's important to just to highlight what our strengths are because again, we're not entering a competitive space of product roadmaps where you have your roadmap and your product board and everything else.
Yeah.
There is a differentiator for us with Goosly, which is the ability to communicate, to share and communicate your plans with the world. And be it your following, be it your customers, be it whoever, right? And that's basically what we're focusing on messaging wise. So in preparation for product hunt, we also changed our landing page to be a bit more specific.
So together, the other products are a lot more about the planning aspect and that stuff as well, and you see Goosely much more in the communication part to the world.
Yes, and I would also say that the other road mapping solutions out there are full blown product management solutions, which involve various views. So you can see tables, you can see lists, you can see Kanbans. You have a variety of features to help you really deliver products. And this is going back to what you said. Goosely is your communicating higher level plans, right? And not going that much into details with your internal stuff, right? So although you could, let's say, you could use Goosely for marketing and hold your entire marketing plan using that. If you're already using, let's say, Jira or any task management tool, right? You can still use that task management for the low level for your internal team, and then communicate with your customers, with your audience, using Goosly. And again, that's the differentiator. We're not road monk, we're not product board, and so on. It's a completely different approach. we're also focusing on a more niche community, which is people that build in public, people that run open source projects, crypto projects. Goosly would work really well for crypto projects as well, because that's all out in
Yeah.
the open. So yeah.
Sounds a little bit like the very early day comparison of something like Trello versus Jira. Jira, you're full blown huge product with about 1 million features, but Trello really just focused on having a public type Kanban
Yeah.
type board, nothing else, and even leaving it open to people and their imagination where they use it for. I mean, I know you have a certain direction, but I can't stop thinking of stupid ideas like a marathon plan in there. Yeah, the training plan for a marathon, or in that case, half marathon for me. All of those things, especially with the function to copy those plans and rebase it on a certain end date, like race day or that stuff. I know you've got your focus, but I still think there's a lot more openness to Goosely in terms of what it can be used for. And I'm really curious what people will actually use it and what they gonna share. And that's the nice thing about anything that's shared publicly. We'll get to see what they're building.
Oh yes, I completely agree, and that's one of the benefits again of being able to baseline, so you can create public roadmaps to, as we say on our landing page, to keep yourself accountable to your own plans, because you have foreign eyes following your progress, but also for others to be able to replicate your success, right? Let's say you run a successful marathon, right, with your training program. Others can replicate that by just
That's
following
actually a
your
good
program.
idea in terms of even keep the actual plan public, and then you get the social pressure of people seeing how often you actually did run versus how much. Okay,
Yeah, exactly.
not,
But
not sure I like my idea now.
but that's that's one of the I feel that that's what not everyone will be comfortable enough to put themselves out there like that. But I think for a lot of other people like myself, I prefer that. I prefer that pressure, because when things get rough and you feel like you want to quit, you don't want to do this initiative anymore, you don't want to run this project, you don't want to get fit anymore, right? You remind yourself that you have a community that's kind of like rooting for you,
Yeah.
and has all of your plans and kind of tracks and basically, yeah, you have everything up in the open for everyone to be able to cheer you on.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point. And I was half jokingly but half serious as well, because obviously, well, even my running watch, I share sort of the events with my friends. I've got someone I actually FaceTime. I mean, we used to run together, and since COVID, well, we can't run together anymore. We still do it
Mm.
via FaceTime. So I'm one of those people who actually needs that kind of accountability to get me through some of the rougher times. I mean, it's always easy to get started or working on something when you have a good day. But if you stay with running, you still want to go running if it's icy, rainy, shit weather. Sorry if I say that way. Or you just have a bad day and you don't feel like it. And there, that kind of accountability and really helps. But that's more than true for a lot of other items in the world as well. Even as a company, it helps if you show what you committed to and how you deliver on those commitment. That can give people a lot of trust when they find you on the marketplace or the website, and if they see if you're just a web page for them. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
especially in this kind of distributed world, it's not that they come to your office, meet you, and have a lot of meetings with you. You might be just a face on the end of a Zoom if that meeting happens at all. And being transparent, public, showing what you committed to, how you delivered on it. Also with on support, how you hold your SLAs, those kind of things, can actually help a lot in terms of building that kind of trust, and people go buy your apps, your SaaS offering, or whatever you're building, or even your open source tool. I mean, open source is the same thing. You've got a million projects that start, and 99% of them at some point get abandoned. But if you can show your community what you've built, how you support the community in terms of how true you are to the things you commit to, and I know something like a roadmap is just a tiny piece of that, but it can be an important piece.
Oh yes, and you're right. So there's accountability because you feel responsible for progressing with your plans because eyes on you. Two, it builds trust. Right? It builds
Absolutely.
trust in you, in your product or your project when you're able to have a home like this, like we're making with Goosly, and are able to basically communicate every step of the way, everything that you're doing, and that it's building trust because you're transparent and everyone can see what you're working on and how you're progressing with things, and that historical view as well of how things have progressed. And yeah,
Exactly.
it's important. It's similar to version control, right?
Yeah.
If you go to an open source repo and you see all of the versions and all of the fixes and everything that they've done.
Yeah, the commits coming in so that there's a lot of the people are working on it. Yeah, that's just not a stale project where you see the last comment was from 2018.
Yeah, exactly. And also, that's where we build the context section for Goosely as well, so that you can give context and give details. And I started using it. I've seen others using it like this, where you go and update your roadmap, and then you give updates
Yeah.
of the context. Why did I update? What exactly did I do here? What are the highlights? And that's what we're doing when with building in public as well. We're going to start tracking users, MRR, and things like that out in the public.
I'm actually impressed. 91 users just for the very small soft launch. That's quite nice.
Yeah, no, in 121 roadmaps. Well, given some of those are you just started and tested and so on, but we do have people on the platform that are using it for internal work and then to share and communicate with others. Right. Let's see some of the messages. Let's go first to Product Hunt. I always find myself refreshing this because there are updates and such. Ooh, we got 30 upvotes. Yay! Awesome. Okay, so let's see what else we have in here. I'll give it a try. Thank you, Brian. You're awesome. Congrats. Being able to share a timeline is such an easy way. It's great. Thank you. Andres says, this seems like a really cool roadmap tool, and I love it is free. UI is really intuitive and it's packed with a ton of features. Thank you so much. Um, we had a couple of comments here.
I
Yeah.
totally agree with the UI part. I mean, I still remember my first impression seeing Goosely first, and I was, wow, it really looks good. And I mean, if you communicate publicly, that's actually what you want, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the whole point. Make it feel yours, being able to customize it, and also having a. I think the inspiration was a bit. First of all, thank you to Nikki for doing a brilliant job with with the design and the interface. Part of the inspiration was
And the t-shirt.
yeah, and the t-shirt. Part of the inspiration was actually Medium. Right? The format, the styling is very
Yeah.
simple, is minimalist, and you can consume the content with ease. You can digest things easily. You can read articles properly. So that was the main inspiration for the styling and such. Right. Let's see what Jaime is saying. I've tested Goosely, and it's a really nice little tool for managing things that would otherwise escape your control in your everyday life. Yeah, I agree. Um, I'm curious Jaime, I'm curious what you're using it on your everyday life.
I think he's got a food sensitivity roadmap.
Oh,
So
yes, yes.
if
He
you, if
made
you
it
get,
public.
yeah, because I saw that, and I mean, Chaim is not the most common name, at least not here. So I certainly think I
Okay.
remember that, having seen that.
Mhm. I remember seeing it. I think, yeah, that was submitted for the competition, which I'm going to mention in a second.
Yeah, the lower footnote guideline, top middle. Top row, middle.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There you go.
What can I say that about top row and middle?
I confused. Okay, so yeah, so this is for food map. Yes,
Can you read that?
yeah, that's what I was avoiding.
Fermentable oligosaccharides, disaccharides, and monosaccharides.
And
Polyols.
polyols. I think you've done a good job. I've avoided. I just said food map. To be honest, I've shared this on social, and I just put that hashtag food map. I didn't go to the trouble of writing any of that down.
That's hell of a search engine optimization job there.
Yeah, true.
I wonder how you rank for those keywords.
Yeah, but again, it's you can track yourself things, and now again, this can be copied and made.
And this again is one of the examples which is great with the rebase functionality when you want to start.
Mhm.
For example, I mean, there's no point in copying this and you started 10 weeks ago. This is really the thing where you want to say, I'm going to start on Monday, and then the whole plan aligns to that start day.
Yeah, true. And we also have features that are coming that will allow you to create templates without dates, as in, for example, sprint one, sprint two, or week one, week two, and so on.
Okay.
So your columns, your headings would be whatever you want it to be.
Just relative.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Rather than a specific date in 2022.
Yeah.
Although the benefit is, and you will see here that the timeline loaded on this with Goosly for your public roadmaps, you can mention where the timeline should load, whether it should load to today and continue to follow the today line. Like for example, in Atlassian events, for example, where we're just moving to
Where
today's
today makes sense, yeah.
or a specific date, and then your roadmap always lands there. So for example, product launch, you see that we dead center April because the roadmap is starting there, and it makes sense. Okay, Jaime also says, let me stop sharing. I built it on my Mac and now I checked it on my iPad when I'm around the house and it's really helpful. Yeah, that's awesome. And also the gesture should work. You should be able to navigate the timeline with your finger gesture as well. Um, that's the nice thing about Goosely. It works for everyday stuff where using a full-blown tool would be on overkill. Yeah, and that's mainly one of the reasons why. Yeah, exactly, and that's one of the main reasons why we decided to do this. Like, I've been so many times, and I've talked this in the past. I had planning tools available, yet I would go pen and paper and sketch March, April, May. Like I'm going to do this activity and that activity and so on, or on a whiteboard. And that's the benefit of it.
Not even just that. It's also it's amazing. Once you have the tool, it's how much you think about. Oh, I could have used it here, or even planning for a trip with a couple of friends. It's super easy stuff that you can think of back in the, yeah, I could have used it here. So it's one of the tools that you sometimes miss, but especially once you have it, it becomes a lot more incredibly more useful. Especially since it's so easy and quick to create things. So it even makes sense to have a roadmap with 5, 6, 7 items and just share it to the people you want to share it to.
Oh yeah, 100%. I agree with that. Right, let's see if there's anything else. I'm going to talk in a second about what's coming. I just want to make sure that I give the opportunity to read as many. And again, make sure that you go on Product Hunt and leave your comments here. Yeah, Daniel says, congrats being able to share timelines in such an easy way. It's great. Thank you, Daniel. Oh, right. So Marvin says, I missed the train here. Okay. Very cool tool and awesome that you offer it for free. A Trello integration would be very cool. Yeah, so it seems like people are fan.
Number 2 for Trello already.
Yeah, 2 for Trello. That's probably coming. Right. This seems like a really cool roadmap too, and I love it.
You read that before.
Oh, I did. Sorry, I'm getting confused with this. I don't think they're in the right order though. Like, look, 7 minutes ago, 24 minutes, 16,
Sure.
then 2 minutes ago. It's great how easy it is to embed your roadmaps anywhere. Love it. Can't wait to see how the app evolves. Right. So, speaking of evolution, let's put our faces back on, our pretty faces here. What's coming up next? So, Nikki and I talked about it. I just mentioned being able to not show dates, but actually show the columns as whatever you want it to be. We're also improving the day zoom level in terms of
So
UI.
you mean the intraday, so
Yeah,
with
so
times in it, because at the moment you just go down to the day itself.
yeah, let me just go to one that's at the daily level. So, anyways, you can zoom yourself, right? So you can zoom out and zoom in. But when you're at the daily level, what tends to happen is right now, if you have daily activities, they get the columns are quite small and they get a bit cut up,
Mhm.
up in here. So you can't read much of those tasks. So what we're planning to do is stretch the columns a bit more on the day level and also make the cards bigger so that
Yeah.
you have at least two rows of the
So a
text
little
there.
bit calendar view.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah, yeah. Because it
Do you
makes sense.
actually envisage to go down to even have certain? I mean, with this Atlassian events roadmap, for example, which is very useful, it might actually be nice to have the start time of an event.
Yes.
And
So the workaround now. So at the moment we don't have time and time zones available in the app. It's just day level. What you can do.
time zone nightmare. Reminds me about the event planning we had the other day and starting times in different time zones. It's
Yeah.
just insane.
Well, that's one of the things that we'll need to figure out with time zones in the app. I don't think it's rocket science, but anyways, a hack now. If you're planning to organize, let's say you want to organize your week and you want to organize it based on hours, you can use the groups as hours. So you'll be able to create like
Okay. Yeah.
9 a.m., 10 a.m.,
Yeah.
11 a.m., and
Yeah.
then you basically select the group to belong to that, right? So that's a workaround right now, but in the future, I
Do
think
you actually hide empty groups? I mean, I've never tried it, and yeah, no, it's not
uh,
really hidden.
yeah, it's I think we have something, or yeah, we might have something there. I'm not sure. I need to ask
Yeah.
me. Yeah, but if that's coming as well, because I want this to be able to be zoomed in as a calendar, so you can properly track your day-to-day activities. So you see cards bigger, and you can also have them arranged by time, so you can enable time. And we'll also probably for sure, because it's in the scope now, an add to calendar.
Yeah.
So then when we introduce time and time zones, you can also add to calendar. So you can basically use this very easily for tracking events. And even if you're building in public and you have longer activities, you can also have events. So you can have a swim lane, a row that's your events group, and say you're sharing with your community that you're going to go live, talk about how you do design on Thursday, and people can just add to their calendar and attend. So that's in the plan, and a lot of the features that are coming now are focused on this: share with your community and keep your community updated and in the loop with what's going on. We're also going to have a subscription to a roadmap. So anyone that has an account can hit the button to subscribe for updates to this roadmap. So then when you hit publish on your roadmap, let's take this one. Um, if I go, yeah, I need to publish. So if I go save and publish here, then it would send an email to everyone that's subscribed to your roadmap. They say, hey, Bureau has published a new update on their roadmap. So a lot of the features that are coming are around that, basically the benefit of building a community and kind of keeping your community updated about your progress. And then there's also some things around usability. So we'll introduce. So right now you can double click to create an activity, but you still need to click on the activity in order to change the name of it because it just comes up activity one, activity two. What will happen next is once you double click, this will highlight as a field, and you'll be able to just type immediately.
Makes sense.
That will make it super fast for you to plot all of your activities. Another thing that's coming, the ability to search, because at the moment you can't really search the roadmap, so you'll be able to search for your activities, and also rearrange the groups, because groups are just the way you create them, that's the order that they go in, but you might want later on to put some stuff at the top versus the bottom. Those are some examples of what's coming.
Mind if I just take the chance and ask about the feature request side, right?
Yeah.
If they're coming or not.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things I would have found very useful is actually, you mentioned the add to calendar button, which I think is great for single events and that stuff. But I think it would also be useful to add a whole roadmap as a calendar. So, for example, add it to Outlook or others who can import ICS URLs and have the whole agenda, so that you can display it in your Outlook or wherever you use your daily planning as a calendar view.
So I think that is something that will be part of a bigger piece of work that's going to come in the upcoming sprints related to APIs and integrations as well. I know what you're saying, basically having a button that can allow you to download that ICS file.
They're not really just download it. I think I'm more interested in keeping it synchronized. So having a permanent ICS URL that you can load to your calendar tool, and then that keeps it updated.
Well, that's probably going to be one of the APIs providing you that, because again, given that everything that you're able to do manually in the application, like for example, hey, add this event to calendar, you'll be able to have basically an API for it, either individual or hey, here's all of the events that are going to happen, and use this API or this ICS file extension to load it into it. And we're probably also going to have like integrations with Google Calendar and other popular calendars out there, so that we can do it both ways. So if you plotted stuff here, you can import it into your Google Calendar, and then vice versa. If you have a Google Calendar with a specific, topic, because for example, in Google Calendar you can create multiple calendar views. If you want a specific calendar view rendered into your Goosly, you'll be able to do that as well.
And the next one, filtering those roadmaps, so based on labels or anything. Is that something you have thought about, considered, not decided yet?
So the first step is search. That's the basic thing.
Fair point.
Yeah, so we'll introduce search so that you can actually search for your thing rather than navigating and then getting lost. And then yes, there's going to be additional features where we're going to add tags and so on. But I think I want these extended features to be driven by the community as well. Yeah. As in, the more people are asking for, hey, I'm actually working like this and I need labels and so on, the more that's going to become a priority.
Which is actually, I think, a good point. So what's the best way of raising a feature request or sharing that kind of feedback?
Very good. Very nice segue. All right, so let me just take this. So what you're going to find is we have a Discord community. So if you navigate to the page on the bottom here, there's a join community. And in this Discord community, let me see if I am able to directly open it.
So what are you indirectly saying? You make us people who use Slack feel old now?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, correct. So in the Discord server, you have your general chat over here. You're going to see announcements. So this is where we announce all of the features released. Apart from also being on the actual roadmap, because the features will be presented there, you also have the announcement, and you have feedback channel where people are raising feedback about the product, like yourself. Yeah. And then the support, if you need support, if you want to ask questions. Now, we decided to make a community because, again, we want to build, eat your own dog food as well, right? So this is a building public, community-driven type of project, and everything is out in the open. So raising bugs or anything like that can be public. We don't mind that happening. So it actually, well, I think one thing that is going to start happening, and again, there's not that much in here because we recently launched, but once people start using it and start raising things on support, it's not only going to be myself and the team helping with support and answering questions and so on. Is the community itself will help, because there are going to be people that went through a similar scenario that will have the answer to it. So we're kind of like focusing a lot more on the community. Sure, we do have. You can also raise. I think we have it in feedback here, which will take you um, to service desk. But we rely on the community bit a lot more.
Yeah, I like that community part in terms of it's also a lot of fun watching what other people are raising, and it's also an easy. I mean, the thing having a direct service desk is nice, but you'll never see what other people are asking for. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's the thing that I like about something like Discord or yeah, I'm old forums, IRC. You could actually see what other people are asking for, jump in there, maybe even extend that idea, give some more feedback, etc. So, I mean, if this continues, we'll have a 24-hour live streams.
Yeah. Well, it's good. No, I think we're gonna close it. We can close it at an hour. Yeah.
Yeah, you wanted to say something about getting money to create super cool roadmaps.
Oh yes. Hold on. Yeah, that's true. Let me just share that, and I'll stop sharing
And
here a bit.
before anyone thinks about it, first place is gone. That's mine already.
Well, you haven't done your submission yet, so uh,
Doesn't stop me from claiming it.
what? I don't know what it was in my mind. I should have said partners are not allowed to participate. No, that's perfectly fine. Let me just.
So that's your way to disqualify me because you knew I would win it.
Yes, exactly. But it's too late now. I've removed that from terms and conditions. So, like, except for our team, Jigsaw team, anyone, partners, supporters, friends, anyone can participate. There are some restrictions
You
around.
got scared, no one would. Yeah.
There are some restrictions. Oh, we went out of focus. Yeah.
Let's come closer.
Yeah, that's a sign we need to get
Actually, at
closer.
my age, it's maybe better.
Yeah. Ran out of focus. Okay, it's fine. Okay, so let me share my screen really quick and show you the page. So we have this page. We'll share it. I'll share it as well. So it's get.jigsaw Goosly contest. You can win up to you can win basically $1,000 in prizes. We have three places: first, second, and third. First $500, 300, and 200. We're not give. Let me be clear. I'm not giving away cash. Okay, we're giving away Amazon gift cards, which are almost as good as cash nowadays. So what you need to do is go to Goosly website. You can get inspired by this cover page if you like something there. You create your own roadmap for any topic you want, and then you share it on Twitter or LinkedIn with the hashtag Goosely Roadmap, and you tag Jigsaw, and that's it. You're basically in the competition. Now, I would suggest you go and read terms and conditions because there's some restrictions. Yes, I mean at least for the section of who can participate, because there's some restrictions around countries like Brazil and so on. So you want to make sure that before you put in the effort of creating a beautiful roadmap, check the terms and conditions.
So nice having a competition, but what do I need to do to win it then? So how is it going to be checked? How do you win it?
Right. So the hack to win it is it has to be useful. So you can't just create one activity and say my activity. I'm entering the competition. So create something that others can make use of or can consume as information. Because again, Goosely templates, one, so people can replicate, or good information stuff. Like for example, I created a Marvel timeline showing all of the movies and so on. You wouldn't necessarily duplicate that, but you can consume that information. And most important, you need to have the most upvotes to your
Okay.
tagline. So with
So it's a little bit like product hunt.
yes, exactly. You have to do that to win, right? So with every roadmap, you get this um, star here, this like, whatever you heart, whatever you're gonna call it, and you just need to click on that to upvote. So getting more upvotes means you're more likely to win.
Okay, but it's not the only thing. So you look at views and the content as well. So
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Um, okay, I think that's kind of it for now. We got quite a bit of people comments here. Thank you so much for all of the
shall we have a
support.
last run through if there's
Yeah,
any more questions and then
yes,
close
let's
it off?
do that.
Because I saw Funman Andy, so I want to read that comment.
It's Daniel says super interesting. We'll be using this roadmap. So interesting too. I'll give it a try. Schedule events, yes, and yearly goals. Fun man, Andy. I think the best way to describe this Amazon, amazing. I've been talking about Amazon
Amazon
vouchers.
gift card,
Yeah.
amazing product.
Yeah.
Amazon gift card, amazing.
I think he's putting it in my head to give him the price. The word is
Oh, I
one
like
word,
that.
effortless. Yes, that's a brilliant word. I also love that all features are currently free. It makes adoption of the product so easy and seamless. Great job, Jack. So you guys are best. Hashtag best in class. Awesome. Thank you.
Cool.
To conclude it on that, so Goosly will let me close this sharing screen here. So Goosly will close it on this. Goosly will always be free, right? The core functionality will always be free. We don't have in the plans to say, oh, we're giving it away for free now, and then we're converting it into paid, and so on. No, the core functionality will always be free. That's the whole point of the platform. We will eventually start building extra, more advanced features that will be charged for, but there's not going to be any quota for free. There's not, so you can create unlimited roadmaps. You can share them and invite unlimited folks. And the features that we're building is around integration, is around enterprise, potentially having groups and responsibilities and teams and so on that will probably eventually charge for. So yeah, go ahead and use it. You have absolutely nothing to lose if you do so. And thank you everyone that joined us. Thank you for the support on Product Hunt. You can still go there. I'm going to read and answer everyone, and Nikki as well. Go there, give us your comments, give us your feedback, and give us your support. We need it. So thank you so much for attending.
Cool. Have a nice one. Thanks a lot, guys.
Nice one.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. I think this is a really nice setup. Thank you. Bye.